Hey.
Necesito apoyo.
I read you.
¿Quiénes sois?
What's your situation?
Hi Resident Evil fans, Andy here to let you know I've played the opening section of the Resident Evil 4 remake, and the good news is that it's looking like a remarkably faithful recreation of the brilliant original, right down to Leon's bizarre one-liners. Yes, although we don't have a clip, this line from the original is still in there.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Yeah, it's still probably not bingo, Leon. But while a lot of the Resident Evil 4 remake looks the same so far, there are still some noticeable differences, even from just this short section of gameplay. Here are 7 that we noticed while playing. Enjoy! First things first, it looks and controls like a modern Resident Evil game. A modern third-person Resident Evil game. You know what I mean. Leon is a lot easier to control now without the awkward tankiness of the original, and there are a host of quality of life improvements to make things easier on the player. From being able to smash things with the butt of your gun or a well-placed kick, to quick combine options in your inventory for fast crafting. It also looks amazing, but still in keeping with Resident Evil 4's iconic style. The environments are full of rolling fog and eerie shadows, and easily the most upsetting dead animal carcasses in Resident Evil history. You can use that on the box if you want, Capcom. It's kind of how Resident Evil 4 looks in your mind before you go back and actually look at it and remember that it came out 17 years ago. Resident Evil 4 was always a pretty bleak experience. I mean, this is a game in which you're attacked by a guy with a bag on his head wielding a chainsaw within the first 10 minutes. It's hardly Peppa Pig out here. But it's clear even from the first half hour of the Resident Evil 4 remake that this is going to be a somewhat darker, bleaker experience. Some examples. First up, remember the dog in Resident Evil 4 that you could rescue from a bear trap? And then later on he'd come back and help you in your fight against El Gigante?
Hey, it's that dog.
Well, we came across him in the demo we played, and he was dead. Just dead, in the bear trap, no option to save him. Harsh, Resident Evil 4 remake. In addition to that, the cop you drive in with and who you discover hung up dead over the fire in the village square in the original.
Cabrón.
He was alive when they light the bonfire this time in the demo we played, but interestingly, not in this footage provided by Capcom. Maybe they're still deciding on that. Or maybe it depends how early you reach the village square. In either case, not early enough.
Holy shit.
Perhaps most gruesome of all are the changes made to your encounter with the first Ganado in the game. Now Leon roundhouse kicks this dude into a wall, breaking his neck, but he then returns later to get some payback with his head lolling at an extremely unnatural angle. The Resident Evil 4 remake isn't f***ing around, is what I'm saying. You'll have noticed, if you played the recent first-person Resident Evils 7 and Village, that they make use of a block mechanic that allows you to try and defend yourself against incoming attacks. While the Resident Evil 4 remake doesn't have a block button, it does have something else the original didn't, the ability to parry. By hitting L1 at exactly the right time, you can knock aside enemy weapon swings, meaning you don't take any damage, and crucially, you leave your opponent open to a follow-up melee attack, which, yes, are still in the game and still rule. We've only seen kicks so far, but hopefully Leon still graduates to suplexes later in the game. It doesn't appear that there's a dodge button like the Resident Evil 3 remake, so the parry system is most likely your best bet for avoiding damage. And it even works on chainsaws, if you're brave enough to try. In the original Resident Evil 4, the knife was Leon's best friend. You could use it to stab enemies on the ground, fend off Krauser, and even throw it into the hands of annoying diminutive Napoleon-looking dudes who were getting on your nerves. For the Resident Evil 4 remake, there's good news and bad news for knife lovers. The good news is that the knife is more effective than ever. Aside from the aforementioned parry system, you can also use the knife to escape from grapples, kind of like the defensive daggers you got in the original Resident Evil HD remake. The bad news is that your knife now has something akin to a health bar. Whenever you use your knife, a little bit of this durability is chipped away, and when you do something bigger, like breaking a grapple, a larger chunk will be knocked off. As such, when you're grappled by an enemy, you can either struggle out with the thumbstick or stab your way out, so you'll need to decide if you want to lose some health or lose some knife durability. Once the meter is empty, the knife will break and presumably you'll need to find another one, or find some way to repair it. We haven't seen exactly how that works yet. The good news though is that, as mentioned before, even if you don't have a knife, you can still break things like boxes and glass with your gun or a kick. So you won't need to waste a precious bullet. Gonna need as many of those as we can get, I reckon. Now, I'm not sure how ethical this is, but the Resident Evil 4 Remake does offer some new opportunities for creative combat, most notable of which is the ability to light a cow on fire. In the opening sequence in the village, you can cut right at the start and find this cow chilling in a barn. If you're so inclined, you can shoot the lantern above the cow, whereupon it will drop to the floor, explode, and light the cow on fire.
Bill me for the repairs later.
Sure, Leon, I'll just send you a bill for cow repairs. Before, your problem was that you were trapped in a hostile village full of ganados. Now, you've got a whole different problem, which is this unhinged flaming zombie cow. Luckily, it's also a problem for the ganados as well, trampling them and setting them on fire as it goes. So I think on balance, this was a good move. For us, I mean, not the cow. Speaking of creative combat, the village assault sequence gave us a glimpse into some other new twists to the Resident Evil formula. For example, as the fight goes on, our old friend Dr. Salvador here is able to knock down parts of the village with his chainsaw, which can create new routes for you to get around, or block off vital escape routes depending on if you get lucky or not. Dr. Salvador is another good example of an enemy you can use to your own tactical advantage, because he absolutely doesn't care if he chainsaws a bunch of other ganados on his way to chainsawing you. Put a good-sized group between you and the good doctor, and he's got a good chance of doing half your job for you, so bear that in mind if you can ignore every other instinct telling you to run in the other direction as fast as you can. Finally, even though we only played a small section of the game, it's clear that stealth is going to be an option, if that's your bag. At the start of the game, when trying to escape the house in which we encounter the first ganado, you're actively encouraged to sneak around without alerting his reinforcements, and there is a crouch button now that you can toggle to help you stay low and move quietly. Plus, if you still have an intact knife, sneaking up behind an unaware enemy gives you the option to take them out with a one-hit stealth kill. So if you can pull it off, it's highly worth it.
Gotta go. Talk later.
So, we've only played the opening sequence of the game, but those are 7 ways this new Resident Evil 4 Remake, out in March 2023, differs from the original so far. What do you think? Are you liking the look of the remake, or worried it won't be as good as the original? Let us know in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed to Outside Xbox for more on the Resident Evil 4 Remake as soon as we get it. And if you like the work we do here, why not check out our Patreon at patreon.com/OXClub, or click on the link on screen right now. Thanks for watching.